So, in my opinion, with how the 2025 draft went with Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, and everything else in between, I truly do feel like Cameron Ward, being the number one overall pick, was the least talked about number one overall pick of all time. I feel like once the Titans were on the clock and they made the pick, it kind of came and went. All the talking heads, the fans, they talked about him for 10 minutes, and I feel like nobody has talked about Cam Ward since then. I understand he's playing for the Tennessee Titans, not the biggest market, not the biggest fan base, but still, I just thought it was pretty crazy to see a number one overall pick to just be barely talked about. And I understand it was a super controversial draft with Shador Sanders and him projected to be a first round pick and then him falling to the fifth. I get that, but still, just really, really strange. And I've never really seen anything like that before, especially since he is a QB. He's not like a left tackle or like a guard or something. He's a QB, and he was barely talked about. Just super, super strange. With all that being said, I kind of want to talk about the expectations for Cam Ward heading into his first year in the NFL. I feel like he's projected to not have a great season, and I completely understand why. In 2024, it was a great quarterback prospect draft, and in 2025, it was significantly worse. So I just feel like there just isn't a lot of buzz on him going into this season, which I understand, man. But at the same time, back-to-back years, we've seen first-year QBs have immediate success. In 2023, CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. 2024, Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Why not the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward? Why not? I'm not saying this team is going to be a playoff team, but you never know. It could be a sneaky, competitive sneak into the playoffs sort of team. I think it's very, very possible, especially with them being in the AFC South. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones, and the Houston Texans. I really only treat one of those teams with respect, and that's the Houston Texans, of course. In my opinion, I think that team may make a Super Bowl appearance this year, but Indy and Jacksonville are a joke to me, so that definitely works out in their favor. And not a lot of people gave a lot of credit to the Titans defense a year ago. It was a pretty good unit, man, especially in that secondary. And I just feel like if the Titans have a good defense, which I think they will in 2025, anything is possible. We just saw with the Eagles and the Chiefs, defense wins championships. And if the Titans could have a good defense again in back-to-back years, I feel like this team could be sneaky good. But there still definitely are some glaring question marks with this team overall, starting with their head coach, Callahan. We really have no idea if this guy is a good head coach or not. I think anybody saying he is or isn't is just completely taking shots in the dark. We don't know, man. We don't know. Even his own players probably don't know. In 2024, he had the infamous Mr. Mayonnaise himself, Will Levis, as his quarterback. Was just a meme machine a year ago. So when he's your QB1 for the entirety of the 2024 season, essentially, it's kind of hard to look good. So I think we'll quickly find out if Callahan is a good head coach in the first couple of months. But assuming he's decent to pretty good, and like I said, if that defense is good, I feel like they'll at least have a shot to do something in 2025. And I'd say the second biggest question mark is just the offense in general. I know they have Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. They made some plays a year ago. They're decent. I'm just not super confident in them from week 1 to week 18. And as far as their receivers and tight ends, Calvin Ridley was really just a disappointment a year ago. They recently signed Tyler Lockett, Treylon Burks is still on the team. One of the biggest draft busts in a hot minute for the tight ends. So not really a lot of weapons for Cam Ward, unfortunately. But that's the thing, man. If Cam Ward can make his wide receivers, tight ends, running backs look competent, look good this year, then this guy might be something special. Because I'm really not seeing a lot on the personnel end. And think about it too. This is essentially year one of a rebuild to a certain extent. And he is on his rookie contract, obviously. So Titans fans, in the next 2-3 years, if Cam Ward's good, if the hype is good in Tennessee, I definitely expect them to be very active in free agency and whatnot. So the talent will come. The talent will come in the wide receiver, tight end, RB department, all the skill positions. I just think it's a low-key critical year for the state of this franchise because if Callahan isn't good, if Cam Ward doesn't have a good year, if the Titans aren't good in general in 2025, I just feel like it sets them a year back, because if they don't have a good year, I totally expect Callahan to get fired, and then you would kind of have to start from scratch to a certain extent in 2026 with a new head coach, a new system, etc., etc. Kind of like what the Bears did with Caleb a year ago. Not saying it was a waste of a season. That experience is very critical for any young quarterback, and Caleb had a decent year statistically to a certain extent. But I'm just saying, if you already have everything in place right off the rip, i.e. a good head coach, good system, you're a baller, it's just going to speed up the timeline of the team actually being competent and competitive again. So Titans fans, talk to me. How do you feel about the Titans going into the season? What are your expectations? Because I just feel like not a lot of people are talking about this team at all. Are you confident? Are you not confident? And what do you think about your head coach? Because I feel like that's a really, really important and vital question. So let me know in the comments below. As far as the schedule goes for the Tennessee Titans, kind of a rough start in my opinion. They open up the season at Denver. Definitely a tough environment to play. Of course, you have that mile high air. Cam Ward's first game in the NFL. Plus, the Broncos defense was pretty elite last year. So definitely a tough way to start his career. Then they're at home against the Rams. Then they have the Colts. And then the Texans for the month of September. Good thing though, in October it gets a lot easier. They play the Arizona Cardinals, Raiders, Patriots, and Colts. But yeah, man, I'm kind of somewhat confident about this team being somewhat good in 2025. I just wish we had more data and answers on Callahan, of him actually being a competent head coach. Because if, hypothetically, the Titans had a good head coach, like if they had, like, Cliff Kingsbury right now. I know Cliff Kingsbury may not be the best head coach. I understand some people might feel that way, but I think he's a great coach in my opinion. If they had someone like him, I'd be a lot more confident in this team, 100%. But I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure right now. Either way, man, it's always exciting to see rookie QBs play in their first year. So I'm really psyched to see Cam Ward play. Hope he puts on a show like Jaden did a year ago. Because man, oh man, Jaden was must-see TV a year ago. So I'm hoping Cam Ward could have somewhat of the same success. And that's the thing, if you are a believer that he can do it, think about it. Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Commanders a year ago. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury definitely helped that offense and Jaden a lot. But I'm just saying, like, you don't need some crazy, insane head coach to get the job done. So anything is possible. Do you believe in the Tennessee Titans in 2025? Let me know if you do. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
After the incomplete pass, it's third down. Out of the shotgun formation. Green's going to pull in the bullet pass. Marquette down for another reception.
Chargers on their offensive play sheet, they don't have many plays for third and long situations. But that is a really nice job that time by the offense, the quarterback. They pick up the first down. That'll get you going.